Welcome back to another episode.
Yes, welcome.
Last episode of 2023.
It-
22. I just skipped a whole year.
It is the last episode of 2022.
Yes. I don't know what happened just then.
Jess's brain is a bit all over the place because originally she thought this episode was going to be the first of next year's.
Yes, which is why my brain is like, 2023, woo! No.
Anyways, it's the last episode of 2022 and we want to use it to start gearing up for 2023. And I know, like, in previous episodes we've spoken about the pressure of, you know, getting ready for 2023 in the new year and blah blah blah, but one thing that Jess and I really want to embody is stepping into our confidence into 2023. So we thought this would be a really good opportunity to think about how we're going to do that and what we need to do this side of the year to really help us come January 1st.
Yes, exactly. Firstly, though, I just want to tell you a story.
Yes,
About something that happened to me this afternoon as I was coming here. I get in my car, right? And so Jackson, my boyfriend, put a new exhaust on my car. He's all into car stuff. And so it's like a lot louder. So I get in my car, I turn it on, it goes vroom, like really loudly. And I'm sitting there and then I rev it to drive away and the car next to me's car alarm goes off because it was so loud that it vibrated the car next to me.
Wow.
So that's how loud my car is. Woo. I just thought that was hilarious. I was like, what?
That's wild. I don't think I've ever heard a story like that before.
No. I was like, I thought... So when I get in my car, it can sense my key, right? So then sometimes I get in the car with my keys in my bag and it's like, no key detected, and I have to take it out of my bag and I'm like, wake up. And so I turn my car on and originally I thought it was my car alarm going off and I turned my car off immediately and I thought it was because maybe I turned it on and then it thought I didn't have the key and I was like trying to figure it out. It took me like a solid like a minute to realize it was the car next to me, and then the person turned their alarm off and I was like, sorry.
Oh goodness, that's so funny. Also, what I do want to realize or make reference to is that we hope that you all had a wonderful Christmas, because this is coming out after Christmas, even though we're recording this pre-Christmas.
Yeah.
Not to be confusing, but we hope that you all had a wonderful and safe Christmas.
Yeah, especially because, you know, we've been talking about how, like, the realities of it. So, you know, we hope that you did get some time to be present and mindful and enjoy it and spend time with loved ones. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's now, when you listen to this episode, it is now in that awkward period between Christmas and New Year's where you don't know what day it is.
Yeah, and every year I'm like, what did I do on this time last year? Like, it's like this weird, like, this whole week didn't exist last year, but then it did. It exists every year and we always forget about it. And then, like, you don't realize how long of a break it is between Christmas and New Year's.
So, yeah. So, for those that are working, good on you. Keep it up.
Thank you to our frontline emergency services people, everyone that is still working through all the holidays because they have to, even people that are just working because they want to, but definitely the people that are there to, you know, keep our country or everyone running, you know.
Yes.
Around the world.
Thank you. And for those that are taking this time to be with family and friends and to just relax and reset, we hope you are making the most of it and getting that downtime after a wild year. Yes.
So I guess to jump into the content of today, it's going to be a very casual chat while we sort of just discuss what we actually want to do, you know, and see maybe whether you guys want to do that as well, so we can all do it together. But we kind of, I want to start by talking about what I think confidence is. And so we were talking about this before and it was like a big mess, but essentially, what did I say? I don't remember.
You didn't say anything wrong. You just stumbled and couldn't get the rest of the thought out.
I thought it didn't work. It's just basically that, like, and this isn't me making this up. I've seen this in multiple places. Like, it's like a quote that exists. But confidence isn't about walking into a room and feeling like the best person in that room. It's about walking into the room and not even comparing anybody or yourself, because you realize everyone, including yourself, has completely unique talents and attributes and strengths and gifts, and that we're all completely unique, so nothing could be compared, and just being really sure of yourself and sure in what you have to offer the world. Yeah, do you have anything to add?
No.
So yeah, we're not, you know, I mean, I think it's great if you walk around this world and you're like, I look fire, I am so capable. Like, that is all great, but that's not about I am better looking than that person. That's sort of the distinction.
Different. Yeah, 100%. Like, you just backing yourself and not, I don't even know. It's like you not even needing the validation from others.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
which is hard.
It is very hard in the society that we live in.
Yeah, I think that's why like we really like want to cultivate our confident selves for next year, because I've spent, I don't know about you guys, but I've spent far too long apologizing all the time for everything and second guessing everything and feeling like other people know what's best for me and not myself. And I'm done with that. We're not doing that in 2023.
Nope. Yeah. I've like got to the point where I've apologized basically for existing.
I do that too.
Which is outrageous.
Or like, I was helping somebody like do something on their Instagram and I was like, whatever. And then there's somebody that I didn't really know, but I was like, oh, I'll help you. And then they were like, they typed in the thing wrong. They made a typo. And I was like, oh, sorry, you made a typo. Why did I apologize that they made a typo? Why did I feel bad? I felt bad that I had to correct them. But I wasn't like, it was...
Literally. I don't know. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah, I think that's like the whole like, let's not talk about that now.
Let's not get into that. What we want to do is go into 2023 being our most confident selves. And I'm like so torn by the saying fake it till you make it, because part of me like fully backs that and part of me is like just be it, right? And it's so like,
what do you mean just be it?
Like,
just you don't need
to fake it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you really faking? Because you're actually just being it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, maybe they can both coexist.
Yeah.
But like, I think this conversation is very like poignant. Is that the word?
I don't know.
It's very like central for us right now, because we're both entering eras of really stepping into our own and maybe like doing not the conventional path to life, or and so it's kind of like we're both on the precipice of like trying to make the decisions that feel most aligned with ourselves that people might not actually agree with. And it's like for so long I saw, like Georgie Stevenson's story about how she was a lawyer and then turned entrepreneur, and she said that she got her law job and then she decided that she wanted to pursue social media, and she just felt like there was something more. I feel like so many of us feel that and we know that, but it's very, very scary to do it, which is why it's good to really try and be confident and cultivate this confidence so that it's easier to do, because I know like I'm finding it hard, even though I've come so far, like it's still hard.
Yeah. It's a tough journey. And that's the thing, like I think we don't give ourselves enough credit in what we are doing right now, because if you start a new job, there's like a 6-month onboarding period.
Yeah, of learning like systems and like the first 3 months are real tough of that learning curve, and then the next 3 months are getting used to it, getting into that rhythm and really familiarizing yourself with it. Whereas the thing is, when you go down a creative path, kind of like what we are, there's no pre-written handbook for it. You don't know, like we're winging it basically, right? Yeah.
And we're making up our own rules, and that is something that in society we don't often do.
Yeah, and we're trying to constantly make the right decision and pivot and take everyone's input, because we want valuable input and stuff, and valuable like people's opinions, but it's also like still choosing what we think is right, because like the magic happens when you do listen to your intuition, like, and you can see that through Georgie Stevenson, right? Like she followed her intuition when people thought she was crazy, and now she has a huge, amazing, successful company, and she's like helping people's lives in so many different ways, and she's living within her power, and it's amazing. And I look at that and I want to do that and be that, and that's why like it doesn't just happen. Like you have to cultivate that confidence.
Yes. 100%.
You have to work at it, and I think the more that you work at it and the more little successes you have, it becomes ingrained, right? And then it's not as much work, but at the beginning, like,
well, that's right. And like it's people think that confidence isn't hard work, but it is. Like, some people just think people are confident, and don't get me wrong, I think some people do naturally have that confidence spark, but I feel like they're still working on it at the end of the day, whether they realize it or not. It might be easier work than it is for others that don't already have that base. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit harder for us, right? Yeah. And that can be hard to, like, a little bit demotivating, I suppose, because you do feel like you're on this uphill climb and it's like a never-ending mountain, right? So
yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, we've come far, you know, but we're still, you know, like, there's always another mountain to climb.
Well, that's right. And confidence is across, like, so many different things. Like, you know, right. You and your academics, really confident,
yeah.
right? I used to get up in pageants and prance around in my bikini and answer Q&A, like,
crazy.
You know, like, that confidence is there. Like, I managed to do that. But, you know, the confidence that we're talking about now is backing ourselves to be who we truly are and who we want to be in 2023.
Yeah, and like, when you can get this, like, I think about, like, music. Like, I love music, and when I was really young and I was performing for myself, right, like, I would get up on stage and I wasn't even scared, because I wasn't worried at all what people would think, because I was just having fun. And then you go through, like, to a certain age and all this stuff comes in your brain about, like, what will people think, all that kind of stuff. And then you end up, you know, like, taking that on board, and you have to work hard to get rid of it, because there was years where I, like, would get on stage and it would be crippling because I was so focused on what other people think. And that's like, and when you're constantly trying to fit into what other people want, you're pulled in so many different directions. You don't create anything magical, because you can never please everyone, so you're constantly, like, readjusting to please all these different people that it doesn't work together, and then it's just a mess.
100%.
So, how to cultivate this confidence? The things we are going to do is, we've talked about this before, but in the, you know, Become the Best Version of Yourself episode, I forget what it was called or which one it was. It was recently. Basically, decide who you want to be, and then be that person. Give yourself the permission to become the person you've always dreamed of being. You don't, like, yeah, it's like that, you know, you see people and you think that they're confident just based on who they are. Like, it was like a birthright. And that's not true. You need to first believe that you can change and you can grow for the better. The things that you feel are holding you back, the negative self-talk, all that stuff, that is not who you are. That is just part of your behavior or habits now. So if you wake up, make the small 1% changes, you know, you love that and I love that. We love that. The whole, you know, just get 1% better every day.
Yeah.
Choose one thing about who your best self would be, and embody that, because giving yourself, like, nobody is going to give you the permission to be like, hey, and people might not take you seriously at the beginning, but that doesn't matter. They're not your people.
Yeah. And this goes into the next thing, like, you need to take yourself seriously, because if you don't take yourself seriously, why would anyone else take you seriously? Do you know what I mean? Like, and people pick up on that really quickly.
Yes, they do.
So, you know, it's not up to anyone else to decide who you are. We're all different. We're all unique, and you get to write your own story. So don't let anyone else write it for you, and live it out to what it's meant to be.
Yeah, like, you're allowed to change whenever you want.
100%.
There's no rules. You're not stuck being the person that so-and-so's always said you're a stress head. You don't have to be a stress head.
No.
You know, there's so many ways to cope with and learn to manage stress. So focus on those, you know, or however you want. Like, the people that are boxing you in, even if it's yourself, like, that's just from fear.
Yeah.
So just, you know, it's still scary, but take yourself seriously.
100%.
Also, follow through on the promises that you make to yourself. Danny's talked about this particularly.
Yeah.
In small ways, you know, it doesn't have to be giant promises. Like, I promise myself I'm going to run a marathon next week, or because it's going to be very hard to follow through on that unless you've been training already.
Yeah.
So, you know, promise yourself. If you say, I want to start getting up and going for a walk because that always makes me have a better day. And then you say, okay, I'm going to go for a walk 3 times this week. Plan those days and then get up and walk.
Yeah.
Because imagine your friend is there and they say, hey, let's get up and go to a yoga class. And then you get up and you get ready and then they text you, actually, I'm just staying in bed because I'm tired. And you're like, but we had a plan. Like, you're essentially doing that to yourself.
Yeah.
And you lose confidence in that friend and you want to stop making plans with them and you don't hang out with them because they don't have integrity and they don't have your back. And you've got to have your back and you've got to have integrity and follow through on these things, because that's also part of deciding who you want to be and being that person. Like, first you have to decide, but secondly you have to follow through.
100%. And like Jess said just earlier, like the 1%ers, it doesn't have to be a big thing like all the time. Like, it, for me, for example, like when I was at work, I was doing maybe like 3,000 steps a day, which is atrocious, right? For me, I'm not then going, from now on I'm doing 10,000 steps every day. No, my goal is to get up and take Simba for a walk, right? Or I've even started, before I want to get up and I want to have a glass of water. The simplest little things, like, and it's just something that I just go through, and I've told myself that's what I'm going to do. And like, even this morning, like, it was, and it's a struggle, it's hard. Like, I've been going for a walk every morning or afternoon. Like, it doesn't have to be morning, but I'm like, I want to do something for me, and that is go for a walk with Simba. And yesterday it was an afternoon, and this morning I was like feeling defeated, and I was like, I don't want to do it, I don't have time, I made all these excuses. And I was like, you know what, no, that's not good for me, I'm just going to do it, because I'm not hurting anyone by doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm only going to hurt myself by not doing it. I'm going to feel lousy later on for not doing it. But on the days that I don't do it, I'm also still kind to myself, because there's no point beating yourself up for something.
Yes, and that sort of leads into, you've very much got to speak kindly to yourself. Like, you can't be a bully to yourself. You need to be nice. And I think, quickly before we talk about this point more, circling back to what you said, getting up and like the 1%ers, like, we forget how to be the best version of ourselves, or to be this person that we want to be. A lot of the time it's not massive change you have to make, it's small change. You know, it is drinking a glass of water in the morning, you know, that, or making your bed. Like, it's not huge stuff, and those little things will help you feel like the person you want to be, and it will lead to the bigger changes happening organically. And it is easier to almost habit stack, or like, if you try and change your life in one day, you'll get overwhelmed after day one, and I mean all at once. And then if you do it for the first day, you just won't want to do it anymore, because it gets overwhelming and there's too many things to remember. But if you just start with a water and a walk, then that will become habit, and then you can say, okay, now I'm going to do a 10-minute meditation too.
Yeah.
But yeah, speak kindly to yourself.
Yeah.
You talk now.
About which one?
Speak kindly to yourself. Why is that important? Or you can go to the next one. I don't know. We talked about that now.
Probably not. Yeah, I think, like, your internal dialogue, and we've mentioned this in previous episodes, your entire internal dialogue is so important in life, because, like, everything that you listen to from externally, and then everything you listen internally shapes, like, you know, what you think, and what you think about yourself and what you do. So, you know, like, if I hadn't have gone for a walk and I like call myself lazy, well, that's not helping anyone, is it? Right? Because I'm not. It's just a false narrative that I'm telling myself. And it doesn't matter if for whatever reason I didn't go, but it's like, you know what, it doesn't matter, we'll just go again tomorrow, or the rest was good for you today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could be really harsh on myself, but what I suppose the perspective is, like, what benefits that serving? It's not serving anything.
Yeah. And what you say, like, your brain doesn't understand truth, like what you say, like what's real and what's made up. So whatever you say to yourself, your brain thinks that's real. It thinks that has happened. So if you say, yeah, like, I'm lazy, even if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna beat myself up because it, you know, like, makes you feel better sometimes.
Yeah.
Your brain believes that, and then you start acting lazy, because if you're lazy, why would you try to be anything different? So it makes it harder to make the changes you want, and what you focus on multiplies. So if you focus on the negative of yourself or your surroundings, you'll just see more and more negative, and it will come into your life more. But if you focus on being positive and just like correcting those thoughts, and saying, actually, is this an objective truth, or is this just a thought that's passing, and not taking ownership of all your thoughts, and thinking, okay, this might not actually be from me, this might be external, then you can start going into a more positive mindset, and then that can help bring more positivity in your life, which will help you be more confident.
Yes.
The next one that we have is focus on your contribution to the world and to those around you, as opposed to like yourself and what you do. And this is a bit of a more offbeat one, but what we mean by this is that when you focus so much on like, am I doing a good enough job? Am I, if you focus on your looks, like how do I look, or am I don't know. If it's all based on your performance and what you're doing, it can be very you can be very hard on yourself. But if you focus on the good that you can bring to the world or how it's helping other people, often you're more kind to yourself, so it helps you with the kindness, instead of saying like, if you work in customer service and it's like, there were so many customers and I feel like I wasn't serving people fast enough, and like I wasn't, meeting my quota. But you could also instead think things like, I had a conversation with that person and positively benefited their day, and I did serve everyone, and I did it with a good what's that word? A good
attitude?
Yes, a good attitude, which made their day better during the Christmas period. And then, so you're focusing on your contribution, and then that can help, because we all have something special and unique to give. So it's like, if you focus on how you can benefit others, it can also bring your confidence up in what you're doing, because it's about not so much internal then,
Yeah, it kind of makes you be present as well, because it brings you back to earth, and your focus then shifts from like a state of just focusing on you and what you have and haven't done, to what you think about what you have done, what you have contributed.
Yes.
So it's really, really important and a good mindset to have.
That's what I meant.
All right, last one. You can talk about this one because I haven't tried it.
I would just suggest to try self-validation journaling or self-talk. This has been something that's really helped me. I feel like a lot of the time when I lack confidence, particularly in like the decisions that I'm making, or the sort of just actions that I'm taking in my life, sometimes I want other people, or I seek for other people to tell me, yes, you're making the right decision, because I'm scared or because I lack that confidence. And then when you rely on other people, it takes away a lot of your power, because they don't know your story, they don't know what's right for you a lot of the time. And I think sometimes we also go back to the same people, waiting for them to finally validate us, and they don't, because they don't agree, and that is okay. It is okay for other people not to agree with your decisions, and I've found that it's so helpful. And I thought it wouldn't be. I thought this would be very, 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 very silly and not helpful, but it's helped me so much to sit down and write. The first line I say is, I decided to take up running, right? And if I'm thinking like, am I a runner? Can I run? I feel like I've never been a runner. This is going to be really hard. If I say I've decided to take up running, the things underneath is like, I then journal from the other person's perspective and say what I wish, like what I'm seeking from somebody else. Because we know what we're seeking, even if we don't know. And as soon as you start journaling, you'll figure this out. So then you write things like, for me, it's like, like, I'm really proud of you that you decided to try something that's challenging. I know today you didn't run at the pace that you wanted, but you got out there. It's really great. It helps your fitness. You can always change your mind if you don't like it, but you won't know unless you try. So, you're on the right path. Just do your best. Be kind to yourself. And I write that kind of stuff. And then at the end, I don't need to ask anybody. And it's actually so helpful. So even the big life decisions, like, let's say you're trying to decide what you're going to study at university, or if you're going to study at all, or what kind of job you want, or if you got a job offer and you don't know whether to take it, or you think, oh, I really want this, but people think it's a silly career jump. Sit down. If you want that job, say, I want to take this job, and then the next thing you write in there is, this is what feels most right for you. You only know what's best for you, and just like validate yourself. Don't seek it from other people, because that takes away your power and your confidence. And if you give yourself validation, you can become confident. And the more you journal about it, the easier it is to become part of your internal dialogue, and then you don't need a journal about it anymore.
Woohoo! I'm going to try that one.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, that is what I'm going to try and introduce.
Yeah, even if you say something like to somebody and you say, I start running, and they say, that's a stupid idea. If you get a negative response, then do the exercise too. You know, because it can help reverse that.
I like it.
Cool. Well, that's what we're going to try for going into 2023, our most confident selves.
Yes. We hope this has helped you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And just like enjoy this holiday period, and try to remember this week that we always forget and do something fun. And yeah, just, you know, do the 1%ers for yourself.
Yeah.
But also don't, you know, put too much pressure, because it is holiday time. So
it is holiday
remember to have fun.
100%. And honestly, here's to the best you in 2023.
Yeah, let's make 2023 the best one ever.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Have a wonderful and safe New Year's, and we will see you in 2023.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening in.
There's absolutely no pressure to do this, but if you're happy to share the podcast with your friends or on your socials and tag us at Pierced Off Pod, that would be amazing.
You can also leave us a stellar 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on if you're feeling extra motivated today. It really does help us out so much, but ultimately, we are just beyond grateful that you're here.
You are also more than welcome to come and hang out with us on our other socials. All of our links are in the description.